What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. Today on the show, we're going to talk about one of my favorite games ever that is now returned in a remastered version, and that is Lumines, the puzzle game Lumines. It is out now on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, which is where I'm playing it, for 15 bucks. And, you know, I'm a big fan of puzzle games in general. I grew up playing games like Tetris and Columns and Dr. Mario and Super Puzzle Fighter and Puyo Puyo, which I loved on the Genesis as Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. So, you know, puzzle games are something that over the course of my life have really spoken to me. I love when a game is incredibly simple to learn. The mechanics of the game only take you a minute or two to pick up, figure out how the game is played, but then the game has incredible depth. There's a lot that you can kind of improve on in the game. So it's incredibly simple to pick up, but you can continue to improve and learn tips and tricks and get better at the game and feel yourself getting better as you go. Those are really kind of my wheelhouse for games. I love the feeling that I can just pick a game up over and over again for years and always feel like I'm improving, always feel like I'm learning something new and getting better. And puzzle games are exactly that. You can really get in the zone and you can really get to kind of the heart of the experience, the, completing of the puzzle as fast as you can. And it's really awesome. I really love that kind of pick up and play feeling. And I also love with games like this that you typically can have some short play sessions but still feel very satisfied about your gameplay. You don't have to sit through hour-long cutscenes or anything like that. You can play it very, very fast and get a lot out of it. So, know that I have played my fair share of puzzle games when I say that Lumines is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time. It was originally released on the original PSP, which is where I first played it, and various versions and remakes and sequels have come out on the PS2, the PS3, the Vita, the Xbox 360, and even iOS. It's a game where, like Tetris, blocky shapes are dropping from the top of the screen and you have to place them into the game board, hoping to line them up correctly and clear out areas so you don't fill up the game board and lose. However, Lumines is actually very different than Tetris in several ways. First of all the shapes that are dropping from the top of the screen are square. Everything is a square, and each square that you get is composed of 4 smaller squares, each one of 2 different colors. So you might have a square drop down that is half one color, half the other vertically. You might have one where it's all one color, or kind of any combination therein of those 4 smaller squares that compose your larger square. And to clear sections, you just have to line up squares or larger square sections of the same color. So you can do, 4 squares of the same color to clear. You can do 6 squares or so on to clear out those squares that you have lined up. Now, this initially might sound too simplistic, but trust me, it's not. There's a lot of depth here, and there are a few reasons why it is a bit more complicated. First, you're not clearing the entire board at once like Tetris. Tetris has you creating a line kind of all the way across. You clear out that entire line. With Lumines, the board is much wider than in Tetris. It's displayed widescreen, so you have a lot more board to work with, and a lot of the skill in the game comes from knowing how to work with the board, how to place things, and kind of assessing lots more different placement options than you would really have in Tetris, and figuring out, I need to work on this area and get it lower, and then I need to come work over here, and kind of knowing how to manage all of that. The other wrinkle is that when you do form same colored squares that will disappear, they don't disappear right away. There's a bar that wipes across the screen, and it clears away the blocks when it passes over them. This means that you can form blocks that will clear, but they won't go away right away, so they'll still be in your way. But it also means that you can use that to your advantage to form combos by moving quickly enough. So you form one square, then the next block comes down, and it has two more of the same colored square you can tack onto it. You can do that before the bar wipes it away, and you can get extra points. So that playing to the bar, knowing when to drop things to give yourself the maximum amount of time to form these combos is really where high-level Lumines play comes from. And that's really where that skill ceiling comes into play. That's where you're going to get all of those super high crazy scores and really long runs into the game. Personally, I love Lumines for several reasons. First of all, it's a very pure game. You look at something like Tetris, it has to be finely balanced. The game can't give you the blocks that are easier to place in very high numbers. They have to very strictly limit you to some of the ones that are going to be just kind of game breaking, right? Like you don't want straight line after straight line. In Tetris, those have to be somewhat rare in order for the game to work. Lumines, on the other hand, is evenly distributed. They took all possible configurations of squares and give them to you evenly distributed. There's no kind of fancy stuff going on the back end. They don't have to artificially restrict certain pieces in order to balance the game. And I think that's really cool that it kind of mathematically works out, that that's the perfect way to hand you these squares, and that's what ends up happening. Lumines is also really awesome for me because it has incredible style. The exact same game as Lumines without the addition of the music and visuals and sound effects that Lumines has that are all kind of perfectly timed to your movements wouldn't be the same game. It would be a much lesser game. So really, this game is just the marriage of really great, pure gameplay that is really fun and incredibly easy to pick up. And also music and aesthetics that let you get into the zone while you're matching up these blocks and really just lose yourself in the game and lose track of hours and hours of your life. It is fantastic. Not too many games kind of hit so high on both of those levels. This particular remaster is kind of the ultimate package of Lumines. It doesn't have any new music or skins, unfortunately, but it is a great collection of all the best skins and music from the various other Lumines releases, so kind of everything all in one here. It's a very fast game, it's really beautiful, it's kind of prettier than the game has ever been here on these modern consoles. Has really great versus play that you can play on the same console. This is especially nice on the Switch, which of course with the Joy-Cons has very easy access to two controllers at any given time for some really quick versus play on the go. And of course that's where I'm playing it, so it's really fantastic there. So Lumines Remastered comes highly recommended from me. Whether you've played Lumines back in the day, you're an old school fan and you want to get the new best version of it, or especially if you've never tried the game at all and want to see what all the fuss is about, check out Lumines Remastered. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today. Thank you very much for joining me to talk about Lumines Remastered. If you like this show and you want to see more, new episodes premiere weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/PrettyDeceShow. You can also check out these daily episodes on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. You can find that at PrettyDeceShow.com/video. Finally, you can catch me on Facebook and Twitter at Pretty Dece Show.